PMacMovies back with a brand new coffee talk video. So we have our mug here. We got a thing full of coffee, well, almost full, maybe 3/4 or 4/5 full of coffee mixed with some local maple syrup, and we are ready to kick back, relax, chat a little bit. I don't have any sort of outline regarding what I want to talk about, although I might make a few little notes to myself, but I don't have anything written down. But I said I was going to do a talk on about collecting, not maybe movie collecting specifically, but collecting and how it relates to addiction. You know, we would consider, you know, movie collecting a hobby, but at what point does a hobby become an addiction? I guess is the question. And this isn't something where, like, don't be, it's always easy to say don't be offended, but don't feel judged. If you feel like you're judged when you listen to a talk like this, the judgment's actually coming from yourself, because, you know, I always question myself, is my collecting too far? Like, and I would say absolutely yes it is. So then, you know, I'm always having to kind of judge myself and figure out what I need to work on, what I need to change. So if you find that you listen to this video, and I think probably the people that actually make it through the video are people who won't get too offended or feel judged about it. But, you know, it's important that we take a look at ourselves and judge ourselves, not in a harsh way, but in a way that we're realistic about what we need to work on, what we need to improve on, so that you can do those things. Not to beat yourself up about it, because that doesn't do any good. Judge ourselves in a way where we're motivating ourselves to work on something. So let's pour a little coffee here. See how it turned out. The color of it looks good, looks nice. No creamer. It's probably pretty hot, I don't want to burn my mouth. So I guess I'll start out, is movie collecting an addiction? And I do, but before I get into that, I do work with, you know, I've worked with people on addictions. I'm not going to go too much into that, but about 10 years of experience working with people, mostly focused on substance abuse related addictions, but it definitely, there's definitely parallels between various compulsive behaviors or addictions. Pretty good. Anywho, what was I talking about? Is movie collecting an addiction? Simple answer is, it certainly can be. Could it be part of a healthy lifestyle or a healthy, balanced lifestyle? It probably could. I think it would be difficult. But, you know, I know people who buy only, like, their very most favorite movies. That's not becoming a problem for them. You know, people who, you know, they like the Star Wars movies, so they buy those. They like some of the Marvel movies, they buy those. Batman movies, they buy those. That's not a problem. I mean, they're buying their absolute favorite movie. So we know it can be done in a healthy, balanced way where the person isn't constantly thinking about buying new movies, or, you know, constantly looking up new sales and looking up deals and things like that. It can be done. You know, people just, they have no interest in buying other movies besides some specific movies that they really like. We have to be careful, though. Probably, you know, so for me, has my collecting went too far? Absolutely. I have way more movies than I need. I sometimes think about, what if something happened to my movies and, I lost them all somehow. And I kind of go back and forth. Would I feel relieved? I'm sure part of me would feel upset, but part of me would be relieved too, because then I could be like, I guess I could look at it from several different ways. I could look at it from, oh, I can build my collection back up. This could be fun. I don't know that I do it that way, though. Or I could look at it from, I'm moving on from this. I'm not collecting movies anymore. All the time and effort and energy I put into it, gone. And when you think about it too, and you may question, I don't put that much time, effort, and energy into it. Okay, so how much time are you putting in looking up deals online for movies, going shopping in stores for movies, thinking about new release movies that are coming out? Because so it's not only watching them too, but the thought, the energy that you're giving them, the thinking about it, and all those things. That's part of it too. Whereas you could be thinking about, I'm gonna think about what it's taking away from. So all that time and effort and energy you're putting towards your movie purchasing could be put towards family activities, doing something productive, planting a garden, building a shed, or doing things with your significant other or your kids, or planning out those things, planning out a vacation. There's a multitude of other things we could be doing. So that, again, that's not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but if you think about the time that you put towards doing it, if it's only like an hour a week, that's probably not that big of a deal. But if it's several hours, it's really taking away from other things. That's something that you need to think about. You need to think about organic Guatemalan coffee from your local Walmart, if you have a supercenter. Good stuff. Maybe I should have I should have written down some notes and go through it. Another aspect of addiction is when you're in the midst of it, you think, well, at least I'm not as bad as this person. At least I don't have a drug problem. At least I don't go around sleeping with various people, or these different addictions you could have. At least at least I'm not as bad as this person. You got to be careful with that, because there's a lot of unhealthy people out there, and you don't want to be comparing yourself to other unhealthy people, which is, and I talk about these things because these are things that I've done too and still do. I have all these movies, but look at these people. These people are all buying new releases. They're paying $20 to $30 for mainstream movies that I'm going to be paying $5 to $10 for. Oh, this and you by doing that, by comparing yourself to other people that are unhealthy, you're continuing down unhealthy line of behaviors. It's not as bad as them, but that doesn't make it healthy. So you got to be careful, and that's a lot of times what people with like alcohol problems, for example, do. I only drink and get drunk on the weekends. This person drinks all during the week. They're getting drunk every day. Or this person drinks 20 beers a day. I only drink 10. I'm not that bad. So those are just some examples. We like to compare ourselves. What about the people that let's compare ourselves to people that got their shit together and that are doing well. Let's compare ourselves to them. And again, not in a way that makes you feel shitty about yourself, but is a way to say, this is what I could be. This is what I can expect from myself. So are we gonna raise our expectations for ourselves, or are we going to lower our expectations for ourselves? And I think about it with kids too. Like if I had kids, and I think about this sometimes too. If I have a kid, can I keep collecting movies like this? I don't want to set that example for my children. I don't want them to be very materialistic, thinking they need to buy things to make themselves feel better. I want them to be more focused on their skills and being a skilled person in their emotions, you know, being able to take care of themselves, being able to cope with life stressors. And buying movies isn't really setting a great example for that. In my opinion, again, if you are offended by that, you need to take a look and say, well, is he right, or do I just disagree with him? And if I just disagree with him, then I just disagree with him. That's just the way it is. But what we do does set an example for our children. And like I said, the focus of what I would want to work on with my children would to be better in areas that I'm not that great in, being more self-sufficient, being very emotionally sound, being able to deal with life's problems, being able to function independently. Materialism doesn't really give you any sort of real happiness. For example, think about in your collecting. In your collection, you have every movie that you've purchased from the store, every movie that you waited for in the mail, you were waiting for, from your whole life, that you've purchased in your collection. Everything that you waited for in the mail, everything that you bought from the store, all that excitement that you got when you got all those items. And what are you thinking about? You're thinking about the next thing in the mail. Where's my next package? I'm waiting for my Arrow stuff. I'm waiting for my Scream Factory. You're waiting for the next thing. You got every movie that you'd ever waited for years and years, every movie that you've bought from the store in your place to be able to enjoy. And what is your thought on the next purchase, the next box, the next, oh, this movie's coming out Tuesday. I can't wait for that. I got my Scream Factory package that's going to be getting to me. I'm going to check the tracking. Is it here yet? That's 0.000000001% of your collection. The 99.999999999% of your collection is right in your movie room. And your focus is more so on that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. You should be enjoying what you have and not worrying about your packages that are coming to you. And this is speaking from my perspective, because it's what I do too. But I think about it like, this doesn't make any sense. I have thousands of movies up there, and I'm thinking about this box of 5 movies. Like, I'm checking tracking. Who cares? Remember that package I was really excited about 3 days ago? That's up there. Remember that package that I was excited about 10 days ago? That's up there. Remember that package from 2 weeks ago that I got? That's up there. Remember that package I was excited about from 3 weeks ago? That's up there. Remember that Black Friday package from Vinegar Syndrome? That's up there. It's already here. But the focus is on what's coming next. It doesn't make any sense. It's insanity. Think about it. Think about it. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. You need to appreciate and enjoy what you have. But it's for a lot of people probably watching these videos, it's an addiction, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And then you get the package in the mail. You open it. You're excited. But it's like the thrill was more in the wait, almost. You check to make sure all the items are good. Everything's good. And then what? How long does the excitement from getting that last? There's not a real fulfilling thing to. There's no fulfillment in it. It's okay. You open the package, and that's exciting. And then it's done, and the movies sit there. You can only watch one movie at a time. You know, you can look at the booklets, you can look at the packaging. Where is their long-term fulfillment in? Probably the biggest thing that we get fulfillment in is healthy relationships, and that's the thing to focus on most in life. But I'm not going to get too much into that in this video. But if you take a look at what makes people the most content in their lives, it is, I would say, through my working with people in a counseling environment for 10 years, relationships is the biggest thing. So you can buy every damn movie in the freaking world. You can buy a new car every month. What else do people collect? You can buy all the clothes from the stores, all the nicest clothes, the nicest purses, the nicest shoes. The fulfillment's going to be boop, and then it's over. In other words, there is none. There's a high from getting it, more or less. You get the little dopamine rush, you get excited, and then, you know, eventually it's like you feel kind of crappy afterwards almost, because it's like, it's over. And you know deep down there's no fulfillment from it. So, I mean, eventually my goal... My personal goal would be, and I guess we could talk about how I try to create balance in it, although at this point it hasn't been effective. But my goal eventually is to probably either quit buying movies altogether and sell a lot of what I have, if not all of what I have. I think that would be... Do I ever think that's going to happen, like that extreme? I don't know. Do I think it should be my goal? And if I get to a certain point in my personal development, that is what I would want to happen, because there's really no need for movies. I would like to be more focused on, you know, improving myself and not relying on kind of like a material thing to get through the day-by-day stressors of life, which is another thing that I want to talk about, is stress management here and how it relates to addiction. So that, I mean, that's my goal, and the way that I try to balance it is get like boutique items that I think are gonna keep their value and or go out of print, and like with the mainstream stuff, just try to get it at almost its cheapest price, but still I haven't created balance in that, because my collection's ridiculous. So, but you know, like I said, eventually I'd want to get into selling stuff more, get into it, get my collection down a little bit, and it'll still be large, but you know, just make strides with the selling and the continuing to improve my buying habits. So what does stress management have to do with this? I wasn't working for quite a while, and my, I think my stress was generally lower. I didn't really feel the need to buy a bunch of crap. But when I feel like your stress level, you know, when you're stressed, you need outlets or ways of coping with that stress. And there's so many compulsive behavior possibilities that are put out there for people. And, you know, especially in our environment here, there are addictions for everybody. And drug addiction is not the biggest one. You know, you got shopping addiction, you got internet, Facebook addiction, you know, relationship type issues, compulsively work addiction, money addiction. There's just so many types of things. You know, Netflix. You could constantly be watching something. There's things put out there for everybody. Sports. You know, people can put so many hours into researching and watching sports. So there's addictions for everybody, that you're just doing these mindless behaviors over and over and over again. Is it progressing you as a person at all? No. And so over the last over a year now, people were already stressed. But then we had the situation that started early last year. People aren't getting... So I talked about a few minutes ago the importance of relationships in life. What's happened over the last year is taking a toll on relationships from a variety of levels. Fear of being together, fear of contact, physical contact, hugs and things like that, which we need as human beings. It's important to get that tactile stimulation from other people. People's views differing, arguments, division amongst people. People not being able to do things that they used to be able to do. Of course, being able to go to movies. People, afraid, just afraid to go out in general. Not being able to really, even when you're around people, not really necessarily being able to make proper contact with them. Because, with the mask over the mouth, you can't see the person's facial expression. Somebody could be smiling at you. You could have some sort of connection. You could start chatting. You're not getting that anymore. You're just getting the eyes looking at you. So you're not sure if, the person's judging you, or if they're like, oh, maybe I know that person. Or, you don't know. So there's a lot of reasons why we're more stressed. Everything's changing. Everything's gotten more difficult. You got to make an appointment to go to the DMV. You can't travel the way you used to be able to. You can't do this. You can't do that. Stress levels are up. And when stress levels are up, these compulsive behaviors, these addictions are going to go up. For a lot of people, it's probably going to be a lot of the internet-based stuff. People are at home. They're going to be on the internet all the time. They're going to be watching Netflix all the time. But every addiction, drug addiction, overdoses, mental health problems, going up, up, up. So probably there's less options for movie collecting, but I think probably people's desire to buy has went up. So people are probably buying... I don't know how they could be buying more, since there's not really that many new releases. But, there is the boutique stuff. There's everything. So I guess I'd have to take a look back if my buyings actually went up. But just in general, people's compulsive behaviors and addictions have went up, up, up. Alcoholism, drug addiction, overdoses, everything. Because people are more stressed. So that's something to keep in mind too, and something to think about for yourself. Have your buying habits changed over this period? And if they didn't, maybe something else changed. Maybe you're playing these video games for hours and hours a day, wasting time doing that. Maybe you're spending too much time watching Netflix. So it's a matter of balance, Is it bad to watch a Netflix series or something? No. But is it bad to be watching it for however many hours a day? Yeah, you could be. You're not taking care of other aspects of your life. You're not being productive. You're not accomplishing anything. Which brings me to another thing. When we're not accomplishing anything, when we're just doing passive activities all the time, and we're not creating, we're not producing, you feel it. If you're just sitting around watching movies 10 hours a day and you're not creating, you're not being productive at all, you feel it. And it will lead to anxiety issues, depression issues. You need to get up, you need to do something, create something, write something, draw something, do something. Even switching it up and playing video games is a little bit more active than video games. It's not something that's really great, but plant a garden, or do something where you can feel like you produce something. You can feel proud of yourself, and you're not just sitting around doing nothing. even making YouTube videos, you know, I feel somewhat productive after I make a YouTube video. You know, are there more productive things I could be doing? Absolutely. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? So, you know, I'll keep making videos like this if people seem to be interested in them. If people don't seem to be interested in them, then I won't. So if you are interested in these, you know, like the video and comment on the video, and it's just going to be, you know, if people seem to get engaged and enjoy the discussion here, you know, I'll keep talking about stuff like this. But, you know, I guess the moral of the story is try to keep a balanced lifestyle. It's okay to buy movies. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about anything. And this is a message to myself, too. It's okay to buy movies. Do it in moderation. Do it in balance. Don't let it take away from other aspects of your life. Don't put hours and hours a week, you know, searching for movies online, going to stores. It's fun once in a while, but, you know, be careful about it. Make sure that you're fulfilling your other obligations in life. Make sure that you're doing some active activities. You know, get out and do something. Learn to do something new. Do something creative. Do some art or, you know, something. Learn some new skills. So, you know, it's okay to enjoy these kind of passive activities in balance, but not all the time. And we get into the routine of doing it all the time, which, you know, I certainly do as well. So it's about everybody trying to, I guess, improve together. But, you know, at the same time, you can't control what other people do. But, so, you know, just think about what you need to do and start making progress. You're not going to change overnight, but you can start making baby steps. Again, let me hear from you in the comment section. I'm just kind of going with whatever I'm thinking here. I don't have any outline written down or anything like that, so it could be a little bit jumbled, a little bit all over the place or whatever, but that's how we do it here on these PMac Movies Coffee Talks. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time on PMac Movies.